I watch mainstream ABC News every day for the last 30 years, and that subject never came up.
I can't comment on her schedule and how busy she truly is right now.
I mean, she's the vice president plus running. I mean, that's very possible, right?
Too many interviews, you think? Or
What do you think?
I think that her campaign wanted nothing to do with him. Huge shout out to our friends over at Allegiance Gold for sponsoring this video. This past Friday, right, RFK addressed the nation, 45-minute speech, just explaining why he was endorsing Donald Trump. And the reasonings there would be Democrats embracing authoritarianism, examples of censorship, suing his campaign to keep him off the ballot so he can't run against the Democrats, and then also installing Kamala Harris, not holding a primary election where him and maybe other Democrats could have debated and made their case to the American people. What do you think about those reasons?
Yeah, I mean, I agree that the Democratic Party is having problem with conducting true Democratic primaries and letting someone to come up the ticket organically. They haven't done it for the last few times.
Again, I would say, who cares? He's fully irrelevant to the election.
But despite all of that, I always say if you put a rotten carrot versus Donald Trump, I vote for the carrot.
My thoughts is I'd never heard of them. I watch mainstream ABC News every day for the last 30 years, and that subject never came up.
Do you agree with any of that? What are your thoughts about those reasons?
Well, I think that the two candidates are going to debate, and I think that, if he was polling at 5%, he really didn't have a platform to debate on anyway. So I think we'll see it play out when they do debate.
Right.
Hoping, yeah.
Right. So you just don't see him polling high enough. He was, the most popular independent candidate.
Right.
But you didn't see maybe, even when he was a Democrat, him being popular enough to even do a debate. Is that what you're saying?
Right. Or even to get the nomination. So
The fact that he made a 45-minute speech, I can't believe more than 6 people would have tuned in for that.
Yeah. I mean, he is the most popular independent candidate that we've seen in decades.
That's a separate problem, that we have a two-party system where the independent candidate is a joke.
One thing that I am noticing is a lot of people are getting what I call online Gumby news. Okay, it's not coming from the mainstream. It's not coming from ABC, our local channels. So I don't really have, I've never heard of what his reasons were. I work, right, so I didn't catch his 45-minute speech.
I believe from what I read, and do you go by what you hear from sources, that he endorsed whoever was going to give him a cabinet post.
Kind of an interesting point, because you're saying he endorsed whoever was going to give him that opportunity. Another way that a lot of people would say is he was looking to work with one of the administrations on issues that are important to him.
There's more to the whole picture. I'm not going to feed into that.
He's running the most successful independent candidate campaign in recent history, certainly. Is that a problem that the media that you're watching hasn't talked about that at all? His positions or anything like that?
Well,
is that a problem with the corporate media that you're consuming?
I don't know. I think maybe they should have made him more in the public's eye.
Right.
But I don't control what I see.
You think it was a lack of integrity to endorse the candidate that was willing to work with him?
To sell, that you're selling it.
Those are excellent reasons. We watched a candidate get installed, a candidate who had barely won a vote from the delegates when she was running for president. So obviously this country was not interested in her. If for some reason this newfound interest in Kamala Harris came as a result of her really hitting the issues and hitting them hard, then I'd be tempted to say, well, maybe we didn't know her. I don't know how people can not know her. It's been 3.5, 4 years. We know who she is. That's the frightening aspect of it. But in reality, the people that say that, well, we didn't really know her, and now we know her, well, what have you learned about her since she was installed? That, you know, they told her to stop laughing and shaking her head. They kind of coached her. She's not talking. She's not talking about policy. The policies she has spoken about are vague. And again, it's more joy-based. It's feeling-based. But when you're looking for a president, you're not looking for a feeling. You're looking for something that's substantial, that makes you feel good about the person that's running the most powerful country in the world. And there's nothing about her and the people, frankly, that are backing her up that makes me feel good.
You guys, let's take a few moments to talk about my good friends over at Allegiance Gold. Now, as we close in on the election, it's really no surprise that Donald Trump is gaining support among all Americans, especially the working class. While many Americans are struggling, the Biden administration continues to attempt to gaslight the American people, saying that the economy has never been better, and we all know that our country is facing challenges. Among those is inflation, rising debt, and rising uncertainty in the markets. There's a reason why so many of you guys watching have invested in gold, because it stands on its own as a beacon of stability, and also over the last 5 years it's almost doubled in value. Allegiance Gold has done things the right way from the beginning, so it's really no coincidence that they've earned the highest trust ratings in the precious metals industry. They have 5 stars with TrustLink and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. They can help protect your IRA or 401k with physical gold and silver, or if you prefer, you can have it delivered securely to your doorstep. And here's the best part, you guys. Right now, get up to $5,000 in free silver on a qualifying investment when you visit protectwithklug.com or call 866-335-KLUG. Make sure you are protecting your financial future today. Visit protectwithklug.com. That is protectwithklug.com or call 866-335-KLUG. I'll put a link down in the description below. Let's get back to this video.
The fact that Kamala is allowed to run without even being elected to is insane.
The Democrat Party wants to, they just want to stay in power. And what they're going to do that, they're not going to play by the rules.
The interesting part about this is the Kennedy name is synonymous with Democrats.
Sure.
Here is a Democrat coming from one of the most important families of Democrats in history, and he has a Democrat as his vice president.
Probably the most.
Yeah. And now, all of a sudden, he is endorsing a Republican.
I think RFK is a real Democrat. I think RFK understands that what the Democrat Party's doing right now is not what most Democrats stand for.
This is not my father's Democratic Party. This party, I don't even know who the Democrats are anymore.
I remember the 1960s. I'm 65 years old. I remember when the Democrat Party was truly the Democrat Party. What it's become today is something totally different. RFK really represents the old Democrat Party, what it used to be. Kamala is separating from RFK is just showing how far they've moved from the Democrat Party.
And I think there's a lot of us out in this country right now that are looking at the Democrats and thinking, you know, the pendulum swung so far to the left over the last 4 years. A lot of us were just hoping that there would be a correction, not going to the right. I'm not interested in evangelical or rednecks or any of that. I'm interested in coming back to the center.
Elon Musk used to be a Democrat. He said the left left me. He believes in free speech. I mean, that's his main issue. He says the left left me and made me look like a conservative, and I was a Democrat.
When they installed Kamala Harris and then brought in her tampon Tim, as he's been referred to, I just thought, wow, that's just poking me and every centrist in the eye, because there's nothing center about these people. These people are appealing to the far left, and you just lost the right, the far right, the center, and the moderate Democrat by doing something like that. And I know that they viewed RFK, because RFK is a smart guy. They viewed him as a threat.
RFK gives a good standpoint from a real Democrat's view, and he endorsed Trump, and I think that'll do Trump very well.
It is really interesting. He is not this hardcore right winger, you know, and they are really seemingly trying to paint him as being that, and it's pretty silly, actually.
It is. It's like, come on, he's not. He's a Democrat. Come on, he's just an old school Democrat.
Sure. He's a Democrat. He's running as an independent because he couldn't get on the Democratic ticket, obviously. And when it comes down to it, he reached out to Kamala Harris's team. They didn't take a meeting with him. They wouldn't take a call with him. And Trump's team would. That's why he's endorsing Donald Trump, because he believes that they'll go after and pursue issues that are important to him, such as, you know, cleaning up the food that our children are consuming in schools. Now, do you think Kamala Harris should have accepted that meeting to maybe say that she is the candidate of unity and saying she's reaching across the aisle?
there must have been a reason that she did not accept the reading.
Why do you
Maybe
think? What
her
was your
schedule.
Just too busy?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, she's the vice president plus running. I mean, that's very possible, right?
Too many interviews, you think? Or I want to read you a super quick quote from RFK right here. He says, Democrats want nothing to do with you. Republicans will at least give you a seat at the table. Do you think Harris may have made a mistake here?
I can't comment on her schedule and how busy she truly is right now. I don't think she should meet with him just because he is a candidate, as far as, a Democratic candidate. But, I can't comment on that again because, I don't know. I know she's busier than busy, especially right now between now and November.
I'm sure Kamala Harris would accommodate, even Joe Biden would accommodate if it was planned more in advance.
So maybe they just needed more time to debate whether or not they needed an extra point boost in the polls. He's polling at about 5% in swing states.
Really?
So a lot of those people are going to be breaking
it might have been
for
a
Donald
mistake
Trump.
for her, considering the power that he could wield with regards to, the politics. Again, I'm not her press secretary.
Do you think this was a missed opportunity for Kamala to say, hey, look, we're reaching across the aisle and talking with the independent?
To hook up with the crazy guy? It's not a missed opportunity. Yeah.
Why do you think he's crazy?
Yeah, because he very clearly, demonstrably is.
To me, that sends a message of integrity, that you stand on something, that you're not willing to give someone something that that aren't true or real. To me, that's kind of what I think it is.
Integrity on whose part?
On Kennedy's part. Because if you're looking for a cabinet post, it questions your integrity. It questions if you're really authentic in what you believed in.
Do you think Kamala Harris is going to end up regretting that?
No, I don't.
I'm sure she is already.
100%. I think that they all have to be open. Isn't that the key?
Why is that?
I just don't think they have a common theme. I think that I think that she has a solid platform, and I think he did not. I think he was just basically following in Trump's footsteps.
Interesting. I mean, they disagree on a good amount.
Right.
When it comes to sending the message of unifying and unity, do you think that kind of, hey, completely ignoring the independent candidate and not working with them was a message supporting unity?
No, and I don't think she intentionally did that. I think she's, only been the nominee for a short amount of time. I don't think she completely thought, I'm not going to go that way, but I think she thought it might hurt her campaign.
I mean, I guess the question would be, what message does that send independent voters? If you're trying to win people over on your side, what message does that send, not even taking a meeting?
Right.
You see what I'm saying there?
Yeah, I do. And I don't disagree with that. I just, I don't think it was intent. I don't know.
She didn't mean to? She didn't mean to ignore his calls, or?
I don't know. I don't. What do you think?
I think that her campaign wanted nothing to do with him.
Probably.
Why would the Democrats go so far out of their way to knock this man down? Why didn't they give him a voice? Why didn't they embrace him at some level and say, he's got some ideas that are actually really interesting?
Yeah, I'm sure his heart's in the right place, but his heart doesn't have a place in our White House.
I think an endorsement probably would have benefited her, and she could have hailed that as we are the party of unity. And in this case, it was get out of here.
Right.
We used to have a premier that was called Ralph Klein in Alberta, like 3 decades ago. But you know that he opened his office to anybody that came and wanted to talk to him, regardless of their party, regardless of their nation, regardless of what they thought. Yeah. Because that has to be the number one goal, is approachability. We want that from our corporations. We have to have that with our politics.
I mean, yeah, after he endorsed Trump, there's not much a person can do now.
They kept him out of this because they were intimidated by him. They knew that he could potentially bring something to the table that could hurt Biden. At that point, Biden was brain dead and they were hiding it from us. We finally found out.
Just like Biden, she is not completely there. She got to the top. She slept her way to the top, and it just...
And then the thought of a guy like RFK going up against Kamala Harris, it's impossible. He would have torn her to pieces. He's a substantive man.
I don't think Kamala knows what's going on. I think she's completely oblivious to everything.
Why did Kamala Harris not bring it together and unify with the independent candidate?
Give her a couple more weeks. I mean, she's only been out in the open for
they already blew him off. Trump unified with the independent candidate.
All right. Well,
Does that seem crazy?
That's only one person. It doesn't mean that everyone's going to go that way.
What's the next biggest person in the presidential campaign trail?
What's
RFK Jr. He's the only other person.
Yeah, sure.
If the Kamala's party gave him that opportunity, what would he have said?
Well, if they were willing to work with him, he probably would have endorsed them because he was going to be working with them.
I get that, but there's just something that doesn't set with me real well with his decision, right? I got what you're saying.
It could have something to do with Trump.
It may be.
When it comes to RFK's positions, when it comes to like what conservatives actually disagree on, you might have some nuances, some positions that he holds when it comes to environmentalism, but also pro-life and his pro-abortion position. They probably disagree with him on as well. But here's the thing. If you disagree with him on a couple of those issues, he disagrees with you, whatever it may be, he's not booted out of the club. You can still work with him on particular issues that are incredibly important to the American people. This is why it's a little bit confusing as to why the Democrats would completely blow him off instead of working on some of those issues that are so important. Yes, they may disagree on a couple things, but we can still work together. Is that just totally lost on the Democrat Party?
Yeah, and they've had pretty much a puppet in the White House for 4 years, and now they've installed a puppet. And they don't want someone that's actually smart enough to stand up and express their views. And actually, the whole goal is to guarantee a supermajority of Democrats for the future, whether it's their policies on immigration, their policies on the environment. Everything is geared towards making sure they don't lose elections. A guy like him is too smart. He'll express himself. He's tough to beat. I can't tell you how happy I am that this has happened. I can't tell you how happy I am because this is going to round out Trump in a way. For those of us, I'm pro-abortion. I'm pro-gay marriage. I'm pro mostly liberal things. However, I am not a socialist. I'm a capitalist. And there's no way that I could find anything with the current Democrat Party, the squad and the far left. I have no interest in any of it whatsoever.
Anytime somebody sees something that's beyond the party line and actually crosses over just based on what they're going to do for their country, which is really what politics is for, right? What you're doing is to support your country in the way you can and make it better for all these people. I think that that's a win.
So he comes in right now along with Elon Musk, which the most important aspect of our future in this country is the First Amendment. So between Elon Musk and making sure that we can enjoy this environment that we're talking in right now,
you're sold.
I'm totally sold. This is what I needed. The Democrats did exactly what, in my opinion, they shouldn't have done. They went way too far to the left and they doubled down on the left. Trump just did what he needed to do by bringing in people that are respectable, that round out the platform, and now he's going to end up getting votes. So it's not just the swing states, it's going to be the entire country that turns.
So you see it as kind of a unifying act, is what you're saying. Is that correct?
Yeah, 100%. I think that anytime anybody looks beyond just the label that they wear, but actually looks at what can become of their decision and how it can motivate to make things better for the common good, I think that's a win.
I'm James, by the way.
I'm Dave.
Dave?
All right, bro.
Thank you, Dave.
All right,
I appreciate you, sir. That was fun.
Thanks for sticking around.
All right, everyone, that is it for today. So we had a ton of mixed responses, and I really think one of the biggest takeaways was many Democrats suggesting that the largest third-party candidate endorsing Donald Trump was insignificant. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to smash that like button, make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and hit that bell notification button so you're notified next to my post. And I'll catch you all in the next video. What do we think about RFK Jr. endorsing Donald Trump? Very well said. Thank you so much. You are so cute.